Hi everyone, in this Framers tutorial we're gonna look into this great typographic animation using Dropcaps that have textures that's generated in Adobe Express as text effects, taking advantage of Framers' great transform and scroll variant effect features. As we scroll down, we can see the next section's Dropcap transformed in a lower opacity as a nice design element on the page, and when the section is in the view, that letter takes its place with a great 3D animation. You can find the links for both Framer and Adobe Express files in the description. So let's get started. Let's examine the card component first. The default text for the component has the thinnest drop cap, and that's for a reason, which making the image placeholder frame as thin as possible. To create a flexible component, I assigned the gap property of the component stack to a variable. Since we start with 0 gap, and depending on the drop cap image, if we need more space, we can add by increasing the gap value of the card component. In the home page, let's select the first card component, make its variant active. As you see, I set the gap to 30, since the drop cap is wider and we need more space. If I reduce the gap and make it 0, our text is covered by the drop cap image. Let's go back to component screen. You can see in variant 2, we have both our drop cap image and the text elements transformed. The image is rotated around the all axis and its scale is increased and its opacity is reduced. And we use this variant as component's starting state. When that particular component is in the view, we switch to variant 3, which has a transition to the active or default variant. We can see that appear interaction. Let's click spring to see its transition details, and we set the duration here by setting time property to 1 second. When we go to home screen and check scroll variant effects that we applied to all card component instances, we can see the trigger is set to layering view, and whenever this particular component is in the middle of the viewport, the transition from variant 2 to the third one happens. So sometimes instead of gathering all content in a single component's variants, we keep components separate and apply a layer view trigger for each instance, whichever works best. You can find info about how to generate text effects in Adobe Express in my past tutorials, but it's best if I also briefly demonstrate for this one. After creating a new file with dimensions of 400 by 400, I added the text. Let's duplicate the last page and remove the text. We can add the text from the left panel by clicking text tool and then add your text. Let's say our next drop cap is gonna be the letter A. We can make its font Barlow and font weight black, its size 250, center on the page. Then to generate the text effect, we can click Effects tab, then click pencil icon, type or paste a prompt, then either hit enter or click the generate button at the bottom, and then we can select one of the 4 alternatives, then download it as a transparent PNG. So that's basically how I created drop caps with textures. Actually, after generating a letter, we don't have to delete the existing text element and create a new one. Since this is a text effect, we can just select the letter and type our new letter and then edit its prompt to generate a new text effect. And in Framer, thanks to the image variable of the card component, I was able to easily customize the content of the cards, including drop cap images. We can preview our animation again and see one more time how all those help us create this great effect integrated into the scroll interaction. And with that, we wrap our tutorial up. I hope you liked it. If you want to see more, be sure to subscribe, turn the notifications on, check my other tutorials, and see you in the next one.